And although the law required no reason at all to fire an FBI director, the administration then chose to defame me and, more importantly, the FBI by saying that the organization was in disarray, that it was poorly led, that the workforce had lost confidence in its leader. Those were lies, plain and simple. I've seen the tweet about tapes. Lordy, I hope there are tapes. I remember saying, I agree he's a good guy, as a way of saying I'm not agreeing with what you just asked me to do. There should be no fuzz on this whatsoever. The Russians interfered in our election during the 2016 cycle. It's not a close call. That happened. That's about as unfake as you can possibly get, because we remain, as difficult as we can be with each other, we remain that shining city on the hill, and they don't like it. I was honestly concerned that he might lie about the nature of our meeting, and so I thought it really important to document. My feelings aren't hurt. Release all the tapes. I'm good with it. I knew that there might come a day when I would need a record of what had happened, not just to defend myself, but to defend the FBI.
You're willing to say now that while you were director, the President of the United States was not under investigation. Is that a fair statement?
That's correct.
All right. So that's a fact that we can rely on at this
Yes, sir.
Okay.
At one point, the Attorney General had directed me not to call it an investigation, but instead to call it a matter, which confused me and concerned me. But that was one of the bricks in the load that led me to conclude I have to step away from the department if we're to close this case credibly. My common sense, again, I could be wrong, but my common sense told me what's going on here is that he's looking to get something in exchange for granting my request to stay in the job.
The three requests were, number one, be loyal. Number two, let the Mike Flynn thing go. He's a good guy. He's been treated unfairly. And number three, can you please tell the American people what these leaders in Congress already know, what you already know, what you've told me 3 times, that I'm not personally under investigation?
Those are the 3 things he asked. Yes, sir.
The New York Times wrote an article that suggested that the Trump campaign was colluding with the Russians. You remember reading that article when it first came out?
I do. It was about allegedly extensive electronic surveillance.
Correct. That report by the New York Times was not true. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, in the main, it was not true.
Did you show copies of your memos to anyone outside of the Department of Justice?
Yes. A good friend of mine who's a professor at Columbia Law School.